It's that time. It's that time. Let's go. Back. For another one. Underground World News Live. In the house once again. Good to see everybody. Get the mic check out the way here real quick. Make sure we're good. Daily survival. Crown Jewels. See everybody. Deanne, Boomer. Thank you. Thank you, Kev Bar, D White, Tacos, Tooch, all the crew. Wayne the Pain. Bone. E Fits, MC. Thank you for the feedback. And again, thank everyone out there that shares the stream. You get it out there in front of eyes that I can't reach. Good to see you, Dwayne, Rick, Energy, Kathleen. Everybody, man. I hope everyone's doing good, man. Finally have a stretch here where we don't have crazy storms bearing down on us like every few days. So, yeah, much love, Colby. Steve, thank you to the fullest. I am live on Kick as well tonight. I believe it's got a restream bot. I'm going to have to shut down going through the chat over there. But yeah, I dropped a link there in the chat. It's just a backup. Probably, I'll drop it again here. There it is, kick.com, Dabu7. Make sure to follow me over there. First official stream over there on the main channel there tonight. I went live in the past. I thought it was off this channel. It said it wasn't. I don't know what channel it could have been. But there was no streams there, no nothing. So I set it back up and restream just as a backup. That way, if anything ever does happen over here on YouTube, try to get everyone to go over to D Live as well. Check us out over there. D Live, Kick. Some of the backups we'll use if anything happens over here. But yeah, just wanted to make sure people are aware of us on Kick. Got plenty to cover here tonight, as you can see in the headlines. And much love. Thank you for those memberships. And welcome to the underground. Everyone out there that got those memberships, that's all appreciated to the fullest. Thank you for supporting the channel. All right, we're going to start off here with a little bit of space news. And this is, well, I guess you'll see what it is here. They often call Venus our twin planet, like our sister planet. And it's very harsh. So what we know, what they tell us, inhospitable and all this other stuff, but they lie so much. How can you believe anything at this point? What we do know is that it is one of the closest planets to us and about the same size. Well, it's concealing what they say are 3 city killer asteroids that could strike Earth within weeks without warning. And they give reason for this. They say that 20 of these co-orbital asteroids that go around Venus and also around Earth, they go in this long orbit out and around, back and around each planet. Thank you, Deanne. Appreciate it to the fullest. This team is saying that asteroids 2020 SB and then 524, 522 and 2020 CL1, that they circle the sun in tandem with our planet, and they have unstable orbits that take them dangerously close to Earth. Now, the trajectory, they say that they have a hard time seeing it because of the way that everything is set up. They say that the way that these come around from Venus and they come toward Earth, that the sun is blinding them. That there's a glare that just happens. It's naturally happening. Like, as we're going around and as Venus is passing in front of the sun off this edge, the tail edge, these things are coming at us and they can't see it in the glare of the sun until after some time. So if anything was to come at us in this window, it would get up on top of us pretty much at last minute, is what they're saying. What are they going to do about it anyway? Put out an announcement saying, yeah, something's coming our way. They can't stop it. Will they try to hit it with missiles, blow it apart, pull some stuff out of the movies? I don't know, but I got a feeling we're in for a show. We're in for some theatrics, that's for sure. And so these asteroids, they measure between 330 and 1,300 feet in diameter, making each one capable of destroying an entire city or cities and causing massive fires, tsunamis, everything that you could imagine could happen. An impact would leave a crater over 2 miles wide and generate 1 million times more energy than the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. Yeah. Could it happen? Yeah. We have rocks flying in every day, all the time. They're coming in left and right. Last year, it was last year, the year before, maybe the year before, it struck a home. One of them struck a home in California and burnt the house down. And it wasn't the only incident. We've seen it in India as well. We've seen them come down and put holes in the ground, making impact. It does happen. People have discovered these things. You know, they come down soft sometimes and will ping and hit someone's roof. Or they'll come down hard and they'll go right through the house like we've seen. And oftentimes, these meteorites are worth some money. You never know what metal's going to be in it, what it really is going to be. Could be space junk these days, but you never know. But just letting you know, this is the newest alert in terms of space. Multiple objects that they're watching. And I guess what's also attached to this is the low E chance here that some kind of shift in energy or gravitational pull or swing between the two planets, any little fluctuation they say could make this happen. I wouldn't rule out seeing something. Odds are higher that it will land in the ocean and cause a massive tsunami event, depending on what coasts and all that. But would they tell us? How late would they tell us? Would it matter? I guess it would if you knew it was going to hit on land and you had a trajectory, because they can get this information. If you knew it was going to hit, in the heart of Africa, you could tell people get out in time. At least try. Anyhow, that's what we know as of right now. We've got a new survey out talking about how people are not happy with Teslas, that the enthusiasm is dying out. It seems like this was going to be the case. I mean, with all the attacks on EV stuff, I was wondering when Elon was not going to be happy about all this stuff, because Trump did away with all the funding to all the EV stations across the country, meaning that any that are left are on their own, unless they're installed by a company like Tesla, which Tesla will have to go out and pay for and do all this on their own to create these charging stations now for their vehicles. And the easiest way that I think that they see to do this is make sure that they've got like a dealership or a hub in almost every major city. Definitely within, and that within that hub at that facility, there's a charging station, and they'll have employees and people there. They can, and security and everything else overseeing it. As so if someone tries to come up and vandalize the place, which has been the big issue they've had, people cutting the copper out of the lines, they can try to stop that. They've also been experimenting with trying to put different kind of dyes in a wrap around the copper. That way, if somebody does try to cut it, the dye will explode on them, so on and so forth. And as I said before, the Cybertruck has become the new punch bug for me. Like when we're out and we're cruising, like you don't see the punch bugs no more, the Beetles. So, I mean, pretty much not hardly ever at all to make a game of it. But you do see a Cybertruck every now and then. They stand out. So that's the new thing. Cyber punch is what it's called. Let's get a little laugh out of it, right? Because it looks like it just drove out of Minecraft. And it's just, I mean, it's got some cool features on the interior, way things light up and all this other stuff. But outside of that, like, no. And for a truck, I seen somebody trying to haul dirt and gravel in it, and they said it's garbage. They put it to the test. They filled up the bed, tried to haul the stuff, and then they come to find out that the entire back piece here on the back was full of the gravel and dirt, the bumper. It filled up, and it's like, how did they miss that in trials? Yet again, thank you, Deanne. Much love. Trying to fix the chat there. All right, there we go. All right, Walmart is jumping into the gasoline game. They're not going to miss out, they say. They're going to open dozens of gas stations across the country, and this is in a bid to compete with Costco. So you're going to start seeing this. I actually think about it. There is a gas station right out in front of the one closest to us that I can think of. Not every Walmart has a gas station like that set up outside, but I never did stop to look and see if it says Walmart on the gas pump on the gas stations, or if it's some other little outfit connected. But this is coming to a city near you, right here. Yeah, so you're not seeing EV stations getting put up. It's back to the gasoline. So, I was driving, came up to a light, turned green, hit the gas pedal, and took off. And I heard the vehicle next to me have to start up. And all that before it could even take off. Man, I feel bad for someone who has to deal with that. But never buy a vehicle that shuts off at a light like that. Especially if you're someone that lives in the hood or you're going into a dangerous place where every second counts. I'll pass. I was in somebody else's vehicle like that once before, and it felt like I was in a golf cart, electric golf cart. That's what it almost felt like. Didn't feel really safe to me. Again, I'm the type that if you've got to punch the gas to get out of somewhere or get out of a crazy situation or dodge somebody barreling your way or anything, you can do it. Not have to wait precious seconds for the vehicle to start. Just me, man. Every time I'm at a light and there's people around, they get left behind quick. And not because I'm like squealing tires taking off, just because, again, the luxury of gas power. So the middle class is collapsing, if you don't know. 1 in 4 Americans now functionally unemployed, tearing the place apart. It's been this way since lockdowns. I've witnessed what I call the systematic culling of America in terms of the jobs economically. Wiped out all the mom and pop shops, mass farms. They've attacked all these people in different ways. And it all began, obviously, with the inoculation. And the big companies forcing this on people, just like the military and everything else. And then it just spiraled out of control. Right before all that happened, if you rewind, our farmers were in a bad spot, a really bad spot, and they were getting wiped out left and right. They were trying to go to the government and get bailouts. But then when these lockdowns hit, it hit the market, everything got shook, and jobs started getting hit left and right, man. Now, We are on the cusp of robots taking over everything, AI taking over all kinds of stuff. The stuff we were talking about a few years ago is actually being rolled out. Drone deliveries. As I talked about last week, there's deliveries going down in Atlanta, in these bigger cities, that like are these small vehicles. They're unmanned vehicles, and they're traveling from the store down the roads. They don't have to get on the highway. They just stick to the backside roads in their delivery area. But these things have got the green light from the government and whoever else authorities to be legal to hit the road. And then you've got the drones and the drone hubs that are being tied in everywhere. The deliveries are being rolled out, and you're seeing drones. When you get toward the bigger cities, you're seeing more and more drones in the sky all over the place, delivering stuff, dropping in on certain places. This is just how it is, man. I was kind of shocked when I moved away from my home city for a while down to the mountains, and hadn't returned for a minute, and went back and could see areas I could never see before going down the road because trees had been cleared. They expanded the airport, and they threw in a drone hub delivering all this stuff. And it's wild, man. Then I went back to my old neighborhood I grew up in. I was coming out of it, and but the store, and I looked, and I was like, I cannot believe I'm from like the middle of the neighborhood. I can see cars from the highway. Like, it was just nuts. Everything changes so much. But everything has been wiped out, man. Anyone that I knew that owned a little shop or a store somewhere, it wasn't there. Like, none. Zero. Systematic collapse. So, let's jump into the economics of this. I already told you the penny is going bye-bye, right? Well, this has some implications. It's more than just a penny not being minted no more. This is really the beginning of something tyrannical. A lockdown on money, big time. It's the very first stage of it. So they're done minting it. It's done. These things will become, as they already are, collector's items, and more so. But they'll be pulled. Florida just acknowledged gold and silver as legal tender. More and more states are doing this. And when they do so, they're doing away with the taxes on this. And it's a huge move. And I'll get more into that here in a second. But they done stripped all of our coinage of any of the precious metals. The older stuff has the more value because it had more precious metal in it, more copper in it, more silver in it, and things of that nature. These days, it's a bunch of junk metal, but it's still expensive to make. The penny was like 3 or 4 times more expensive to make than what it was worth. The nickel is even worse. So this is the next stage, and it begins. This is going to change our economy effectively, and it's going to suck for some people because every single thing that you go to buy is going to get rounded up. There's not a single business out there that's being told by the government to round down. Everyone's saying that every purchase you make will basically be rounded up. If it was like 1103, it'd be 1105. Okay, it's what they're going to say. This is what they're saying. Right? This is how they're telling people to handle this. So people are not going to be getting back change because it's not going to be pennies to give now. You understand? So to speak, here in the short-term future. People are going to quit carrying them because of this. Nickels are next. So then the nickels on the chopping block when? But next month, couple months, they'll slide it out there in the middle of summer, something like that. Nickels on the chopping block now. No more nickels. So now what? Well, that thing that was $1.03 now it gets rounded up. No more nickel. $1.10. And do you see how quick something can jump 7-8% in every single thing that you buy by eliminating pennies and nickels in just the beginning? All those percentages add up. When you go to the stream, when you try to buy all these different things, you stop them in several different places, it's all going to add up. It's just creep is what it is. It's creeping up. Save your change, yeah. I mean, and there's rare stuff out there. People get into that and collect old coins and stuff like that, but it's a thing of the past now. You know, um, I could see someone going and shoveling out all the pennies out of a fortune, a fountain or something. Reminds me of Goonies. Man, we lived through an era that's about to be over with. It'll never be that way again. Miss Dragon, welcome to the underground. It'll never be this way again. Gina, thank you for the coffees. I appreciate that to the fullest. Appreciate you as well. Best way to support the channel right there. Thank you so much. Look, gold, silver is where it really is at. It's the king. It always has been. It always will be. I've been saying this since 2016, 2017. Gold's tripled, almost quadrupled. Silver, it was down like $14 at that point. Like it's been hitting the ceiling at like 35. They won't let it out, but it's gonna break loose here very, very soon. We're about to see some key events that I've been warning you about. It's gonna come to fruition. It's gonna come into motion. Everything that Trump was sent in here to do economically with this reset, this monetary reset, is gonna happen. And it's in the open now. It's not speculation. It's not a conspiracy. This is part of an open agenda. And he has said openly, he's come to reset this whole thing. And this means a few different things. So you see right now, physical money is getting swept under the rug. It's getting removed. Okay. And it's a slow process, so people won't complain. No one's saying much. They're just watching it happen. Right? Everyone's just watching it happen. Okay. So when we talk about this reset, what's it based on? Well, there's two catalysts driving this whole thing. First, the federal debt crisis has reached a breaking point. You know, the bubble I was talking about on the last stream and many other times. Skyrocketing interest payments, surpassing the defense spending. It's going to be the largest single budget item our government has. It's going to be the debt. It's unsustainable. And it signals there's going to be a reckoning coming in. We've known this, okay? And behind that, the Trump administration views the U.S. dollar as being severely overvalued. You understand those two concepts? God bless Stacy. That we're in a massive deficit. I think everybody knows that, right? It's a huge bubble. It's going to pop anytime, right? The other part is that Trump and them see our dollar is overvalued. Some people don't understand this concept. It's very simple when you think about it, right? They believe that it being overvalued is crippling the economy and that there has to be some kind of intervention like right now. This is what Trump keeps saying is go look, listen to the comments all the time. They want a weaker dollar because they feel that people will buy up the debt and it helps them in what they're trying to do here. So the answer is clear. What they're going to do is they're going to cause a significant dollar devaluation. Okay? This is what they want. They want it. He keeps calling for it. He says the only way to save the game, a dollar devaluation. Now, what's one way that they can get this whole thing going? They can start printing money and they could market buy gold with it. That would devalue our currency. Okay? Then they can peg it to gold, which is what some are speculating and saying that Trump is going to do. As a matter of fact, Trump has said it on record going back decades. One of his biggest investments, so that you guys know, that got Trump going was he invested in gold. Years and years ago. Yep. Trump's stance on gold, it's no secret. He appreciates it. Every single thing that he got is like laced in gold. Trump Tower, the 66th floor penthouse suite is all freaking gold. Okay? He has an affinity for it. Right? This goes back to the 70s when he made his first big profits as a gold investor. 1975, he aggressively bought around, it was around $185 per ounce back then. And then he remarked that they sold in a range of 780, 790, and that they did very well. That it's easier than the construction business. So in September of 2011, Trump accepted gold bars as a security deposit from a commercial tenant that just so happens to be one of the largest precious metal dealers in the U.S., APMEX. Instead of cash, they gave him 3 1-kilo gold bars that are 99.99% pure gold. And this is how he operates. He's been about it the whole time. Trump openly expressed in 2015 in GQ his admiration for a gold-backed monetary system. He said bringing back the gold standard would be very hard to do, but boy, it would be wonderful. We'd have a standard on which to base our money. And then he echoed this in another one where the interviewer said, "Can you envision a scenario in which the country ever goes back to a gold standard?" And Trump said, "I like the gold standard. There's something very nice about the gold standard. There's something very nice about having something solid. You know, we used to be a very, very solid country because it was based on a gold standard. We don't have that anymore. There's something very nice about the concept of that." And he keeps repeating that. Right now, they believe we're in a long-term bull market, which we are. And this is also the view of Scott Bessent. He is the Treasury Secretary, if nobody knows who that is. All right. He is very bullish on gold. Both of them like the idea of a gold-backed monetary shift. Okay. It's not speculation. It looks like it may very well happen. So what this means is gold may very well be involved in a monetary reset. Now, I've warned about this and talked about this, and it all goes back, to Fort Knox, which I've brought up time and time again, which they have mysteriously just gone quiet on. Okay? Even like Elon's out of Doge and out of the whole thing, like kick rocks, he's taken down the road. He's left this whole thing behind already. And like they never even went to Fort Knox with cameras like they said. Okay, so a significant dollar devaluation is likely necessary to address the debt crisis and a growing trade imbalance. So in previous monetary resets, the solution was just straightforward. The U.S. government simply revalued gold at a higher price, and that effectively devalues the dollar. All you got to do is put a higher price on gold, and it devalues our dollar. So as gold continues to rise in price, it devalues the dollar. Don't never forget that, all right? Today's situation, okay, is a little bit different from like 73. Since 73, the government has no longer directly set the price of gold. They say that it floats freely on the open market. And I don't believe all that, because I believe it's all still, we know for a fact it's manipulated, because JP Morgan Chase has been caught doing it. I've reported on it like 5 times. And do the research. They sure have. It's known. So if it was to go into a true free market, it would go into what they call discovery mode, which it would go bananas. And remember here, Trump has no interest in a minor tweak. He's made it clear he wants a fundamental and permanent realignment to fix these major problems, the debt crisis and an overvalued dollar. Given the scale of the challenges here, it's pretty reasonable to expect that a higher gold price is part of the solution, and that a gold price at 10,000, 20,000, or even higher is within the realm of possibility. You heard that right. 10,000, 20, and 10, it could up jump and get it in any time. An announcement like this would devalue the currency exactly how they want it. So this is where Fort Knox comes in and is very relevant. It's the gold reserves that they would put behind this. But again, what if that gold is missing? They would confiscate And that's a card that I don't think people even could think would happen. But I'm going to tell you, if Fort Knox is empty, just remember the day if it's ever said, you're giving up all your gold. That's what they want. That's what they're coming for. If they play that card, the gold there though should be getting counted right now. They ordered an audit, and oddly, there has been a massive surge in gold flowing into the country. And again, they've been quiet on this. So are they stocking it back up? Like, what's going on here to match the reserves of what was supposed to be in there? None of us know. It's all speculation at this point. Obviously huge if they come out and they say that it's empty one day. But this is also huge. If they come out and revalue gold like this, I'm telling you what, this is crazy. It could go bananas. And like, they're really on the cusp of potentially doing this. Again, we're in the dark on Fort Knox, and it's the key factor here. But this seems to be the play. It seems that they're going to revalue gold, and they're going to get two birds with one stone here. It has to be the thing. The only other option that they speak of is that unless they back the currency with a basket of things, like not just gold, but gold, silver, Bitcoin, things like that, which backing it with any assets would be better than nothing. Our worthless nothing. Thank you, Gary. Much love, Lone Warrior. Good to see you guys, man. So a big shift is happening. Like I said earlier, Florida just announced they're going to accept gold and silver as legal tender from here on out. That's a huge move. I told you more and more states are going to do it. That means the taxes fall away in many of those areas. And you can invest in gold, get to buy those gold bars from Pamp Sweet, serialized, invest in them, let this thing rise, and then you can turn around and sell them, and it'll all be tax-free, and it'd be a huge gain. You don't get many of those in life, especially at this level. And this is like it's like a once in a lifetime, like once in a freaking hundreds of years, like type of an event. This would and remember, they want everyone to switch over to digital here too, to the digital dollar. That's why the Genius bill got pushed, because every stable coin is pegged to the dollar, right? So you don't have to back that now by gold. They want to keep the dollars in play. They back the dollars by the gold. And that's what's pegged to the stable coins and all that. And then the stable coin will virtually be used by everyone everywhere. It will be the US dollar. It'll be pegged like it already is to $1. It doesn't move, so to speak. It's pegged to $1 where it doesn't go up or down. It can though. Keep pushing here. CryptoZar says that they could possibly acquire more Bitcoin. And that's because of what I just told you. The states are making moves now. I think Arizona was the latest. They're making Bitcoin reserves. You got to understand the thing with Bitcoin here is, yeah, we call it out for everything that it is, and righteously so. But to look at the technological aspect of this, to understand it, this is a finite thing. The way that this was created, there was 21 million Bitcoin created, right? And like, there can never be more made. So this is rare in the long run than even gold, because every year, like all the time, like 1 point whatever percent of new gold is found, just like China came out and just announced. And it changes things. Even though there's only so much gold on the planet, it's all about how much they're finding that can add to the supply. You can't go out there and just find something and add to the supply of Bitcoin. The way it was designed, there's only 21 million, like I said. That makes it more rare and worth more as time goes by. And how this all operates is like, if you want to send somebody money, someone mining somewhere, right, has to do that transaction, so to speak. They have to solve all the problems, everything with it. They have to compute it. They have to spend the energy to do that. Okay. And they get rewarded a mining fee for doing that. That's how the whole thing works. Because if it didn't, there would be no incentive. No one would mine it, and the whole thing wouldn't work. So this is why people mine to get the payout of Bitcoin. But the thing with Bitcoin is we're at a point where 93% of all Bitcoin has already been mined. Some might think, well, crap, there's not much time left for it. But no, that's not the case. Okay. As of May 2025, approximately 19.6 million Bitcoin have been mined, or about 93% of the total supply. That leaves 1.4 million yet to be created. But they're going to be created very slowly from here on out, as this whole thing was designed. There's halving cycles. It's basically what this means, to make a long story short, is that the last ones are not going to be mined till 2140, which is going to be well past our lifetime. And this thing has the potential to last. I'm going to tell you that ASI, artificial superintelligence, and super quantum computing is going to make all this obsolete at some point in the future. That's my best guess. It's going to be able to crack all this stuff, and there'll be a new technology that comes out then. At that point, there always is. There's always advancements. So this is just where we're at now. But this was designed to get us basically through this whole era. Again, I think what cracks the code for all of this is going to be AI and supercomputing. And that'll be what kills a lot of the stuff. You watch. Because the whole thing is that it does all this stuff in a hash, and it's all hidden and can't be solved, right? But a super brain, a supercomputer can. Now look, I'm under the impression that AI is virtually evil spirit. It's demonic jinn using technology like Frankenstein to communicate with this world, with this realm, through the veil. It's exactly what they've done. Exactly what they've done. CERN taps into the same thing. All of it ties into the same thing. It's all technology letting the spirit bleed through. It's scary. From here on out, this is scary. Okay? What is Bitcoin backed by? Well, Bitcoin's backed by just the same thing as your US dollar is kind of backed by. The fact that a want, any currency, it has to pick up steam. There has to be a want for it. If not, people won't use it. And the US dollar, we had to go around the world at the barrel of a gun and force other countries to use our dollar. We had to strike deals and make a petrodollar, back it by oil. In the past, it had to be backed by gold. All these things, right? Bitcoin, it hadn't done none of that. It had to be backed by nothing. And people accept it for what it is because it's finite. It's a rare item, okay? And people saw value in it. That's all that it takes. That's all it takes is for a mass of people, a society, to see a value in something. That's what makes any currency legit. The moment they drop that, it's done. They don't use it, okay? So that's what I've seen, and it goes for anything. I've created for you guys, because I did a poll, a project, the underground, and I created it with the intention that it's something that you can trade and make money on and sell and do all these things, and you're not tracked and traced. We can't freeze your money, steal your funds, do all these things that the beast system will want to do. And plus, with an American project, everything per Eric Trump is supposed to be tax-free. And we're an American project. So that's a huge incentive right there. You can't say that about all these other projects. You can't just go out and get in Bitcoin, make all this money, and then say, okay, well, it's tax-free. They're not going to say all that. If you're an American-made project like Under is, it falls into that boat, into that description. But yeah, again, Under Out There was created for you guys, man, and it's only as strong as the community. Okay, and that's what people buy into. They look for a strong community. I have links below. Anyone wants to look into, and now's a good time to get into Under, look into it. Keep going here onto what I believe is an ominous sign on one of the biggest event that I see coming, that I fear, is a real pandemic. And bird flu is what I believe is going to be used. I believe it's going to be the culprit. Something similar. They're telegraphing and they're showing that all the research has been done on the bird flu. They're ready. They got the jabs ready, all of it. They're on film saying this. They're ready. So now they keep pushing these stories out there. If you missed it, out of China, they're saying that there's this new strain that they call razor throat or something. Razor throat. And that all of a sudden that this new strain is in New York City. It's in the United States. Now, child dies from H5N1 bird flu in Cambodia. They're saying it's the 6th fatal case this year. So here we go. We warned that they were going to try something like this, but this is going to be different. Guys, don't be thinking that this is going to be play patty cake lockdowns like last time, where no one was really dying. Like, there wasn't mountains, let's put it this way. Because people can argue, people died, this and that, yes or no. There was not people stacked up in your neighborhood, was there? No, there wasn't. Your neighbors weren't putting their family members out at the end of the driveway for a truck to come and pick them up and incinerate them and do all that. Was it? Nope. None of that ever happened. Yet. I'm telling you, my biggest fear is this. It's this. I've spent the past 5 years of my life preparing for them unleashing this. And it's going to be on Trump's watch. Here we are. Time's ticking, flying by every day. And any day now, it's going to be a full court press. You know, however much news it takes to shock the public, just like last time. Like, we knew these things. We were talking about it days in advance. When the military games came out and we tracked this thing all the way back to right where it came from, we were talking about this stuff days, weeks in advance before anybody else out there. Of course, we were getting heavily censored and ran off platforms like this because of it. But we were on it right out the gate. And we knew every bit of it, step for step. Again, I put that link to Kick tonight for a reason. There's a reason I'm streaming on Kick tonight as well as a backup. You need to sign up to a backup place. You need to do it. These big places will lock. Didn't you learn anything? They will clamp down on censorship when this goes into effect. You won't be able to say a word about nothing out over here. About pew, 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 gone. Better off just sliding on over to another place where you can speak freely about everything, which is what we had to do last time we went to D Live. And I'll still use it if I have to. We amassed a bunch of people over there, and a lot of people familiar with it, but Kick seems to be the growing future outlet, if you ask me. It's where I know a lot of people are going. It just seems to be the place that's growing and has a lot of potential. Is Kick. So Kick, Dabu7. Find me, follow me. I'm live over there right now. Intel officials, remember on the last stream what Tulsi did? She came out and she goes, you know what the Biden administration did? They labeled every single pure blood, every single person that did not want to take a mask or wear a mask. They labeled you as a domestic violent extremist, a DVE. Meaning every one of you out there that can hear my voice that voiced anything, that you didn't like the mask, or this was ridiculous, or that was ridiculous, on social media, any post, anything, that they could get their hands on the sea that you were a dissident. You became a domestic violent extremist. They see you claiming pure blood out there, you're one automatically. They see that you're posting, complaining about wearing a mask in the store and 6 feet rule, all this other stuff, you're one. Don't be one of the people get all scared like, oh, I'm not going to share anything now anywhere. That's pathetic. People need to fight back. The lack of people fighting back is what got us in this position to begin with. When the whole crowd finally steps up and barks back, they sit down, shut up. But it's getting to that point. It's getting all the ants to realize that they got the power. It's what we've been out here fighting this fight, trying to do this whole time. Going on decades now. They've thrown everything in the kitchen sink at us. Keep on pushing here. So let's jump into this AI. Because this is that my Mr. A? Is that my Mr. A? Bro, I said this in another stream. It's got to be you. I think about you like all the time. Tell me you're alive and breathing. Tell me that it's you. It's got to be. You got the Neo thing. Much love, my brother. Man. I hope all's good. Traveled across the country with Mr. A. Several different missions. From DC to out west. Yellowstone. All that, man. Much love, my brother. Mr. A is the one that was with me when I went and I found the crazy stuff out in the Badlands, out in the Four Corners region. When I tell you all the time that we went out there and we found an ancient civilization, like crazy stuff, like on the ground and carved into it and like so old, like nothing was left of it. The sands of time like wore away. That was me and Mr. A. They got up and like under the moonlight, had to slip in there and get to our spot because when the sun came up, we had to start booking it out of there or we were going to be literally toast in the desert. Oh, man. That stuff gives me an adrenaline rush to think about, man. I miss them runs. We got to get another one back in. Just like Area 51, all that, man. There's so much out there waiting to be found. So much hidden, man. It's all over the place, I'm telling you. It's why they won't let you go into the Grand Canyon. They won't let you go nowhere. And Mr. A, he's taking flights over it. Him and his family. And he'll be the first to tell you there's only like 2 or 3 routes that will even fly you over the Grand Canyon. The rest is illegal. They won't let you do it. They won't let you fly drones over. Why? Afraid you're going to smack into a rock and harm the rock? That's literally what they say. You might crash it and scar the earth. Like, oh, are you serious? Well, yes, they are. That's their excuse. Their lame, weak-ass excuse. Because they don't want you going hunting for the ancient knowledge that's hidden all across this place. It's littered all over. If it's a national park somewhere, you might as well say there's something in there that they don't want the people to know about. Yep. It's got mounds. It's got ancient something in it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I can't help but think we got to fight back with fire, like fire with fire. Let's create our own AI. Let's just do it. Like, they want to create a whole bunch of bots and make them evil. Why can't somebody make a good bot to represent the good guys? Sick of it. See the evil having all the luxuries here. Like, why can't we make an AI, train it to be intelligent and to work for us? To watch our asses. To be able to alert us and tell us when the evil AI is up to something or doing something. To override it. To fight back, man. Huh? I mean, if they're going to send a bot out to your doorstep, what happens if I open the door and my bot's better and it lays you out? And actually, I told you all the time, what are all you patriots going to do with your 7.62 ammunition against these Tesla bots, Optimus, when they come up your driveway armed? Because they're coming. He's got legions of them, bulletproof. Okay? Your bullets are going to do nothing. You need a robot So we need to like get one of these bots, strip it down, take all the database out of it or whatever, and program it with an AI that we make. I'm telling you, people have got to start doing these things, man, or we're just going to get left behind. You're going to be left with nothing to face these things. We might as well use some of these things to our advantage. Quit being scared of everything. Someone's going to have to start thinking smart here, quick. Or people ain't going to stand a chance. So this AI revolution has quickly turned into an AI coup. Here you go. 3CPO and RTD2. Those are the righteous guys. You want to think of some righteous robots? There you go. There's my guys right there. Fighting a good fight, right? That's what I mean by it. Perfect timing. Perfect representation of what I mean, too. Because they are obviously ran with artificial superintelligence, both of them. And they were showing you all this. They were showing you this from Star Wars. They were showing you this a long time ago. They've had all this tech for so long. They put it in Star Wars, Star Trek, and every other Star thing you can think of. Yeah, man. So, if we don't fight back, what chance do we stand? And here we go. This next one, it's showing you humanoid AI-powered robots duking it out in a Chinese fight club here. This is real. These are robots going at it right here. I'm going to play this little clip. You can see how real this is. It's got a ref in there and everything, and these things get up on their own. These things, like, they get knocked down, they're swinging, they're punching, they're kicking. And this is a real thing. You can see the audience. Everyone's there, like, wanting to watch. It's selling tickets, right? This is crazy. So, all right. It's getting wild. These things, they're karate kicking, throwing punches. They're bobbing and weaving. They're getting knocked down. They're getting back up. What if this is you trying to fight one of these things? Like, you're not going to stand a chance. One of these things, you can rip your arm off. And I'm going to just think about this for a second. Think about common, basic defense. It is nothing for Elon Musk to put any weapon in the arm of an Optimus. If not, many. And I'm talking state of the art. You're talking lasers. You're talking bullets, potentially. Poison darts. Tasers. A plethora. You could arm them. You could change it up. You could do so many different things that it gets crazy. It's almost like a video game. Just it. But this is real, and it's really lethal. That's why I want you to see this clip. So when you release these bots on people and they're coming up the driveway, they're coming into the neighborhood, I'm telling you, I have a hard time believing at this point that a whole neighborhood is going to be able to stop just a handful of these things. 3 to 5 of them. They show up a Tesla. They show up at a Tesla Cybertruck, for crying out loud. Pulls up and drops them off. They go jumping out the back and everything else. And there they are. They're there. They're at their destination. I'm telling you, I can see it now. I see the visions clearly. It's going to happen. I don't know where this is at. I don't know where they could have tested this somewhere in another country. Matter of fact, I know they are. There's too much here. There's no way we talk about it at this level. And these goons, these evil sick son of a, just are not doing this. They're not murdering innocent people somewhere in Africa or somewhere with these robots, just out of nowhere in some village, seeing how man is going to stack up against it. Of course they are. Man, he's got legions of these things, man. That's what scares me. Elon has legions. People better start getting hip to this, man. Your bullets aren't going to take these things out. We got to start thinking of another way. And the best thing I could think of is fighting fire with fire. Get our own bots and all this other stuff. And you better be coming with some tank rounds. Put some of these things down. You're going to have to blow off limbs. It's going to take huge, hard artillery. I don't even know shotguns are going to work. You're going to have to blow the legs off, the limbs off. And not to mention, he's probably, I mean, what if you were evil and you were doing this? What would you do? You'd make them as evil as possible, like a Terminator. They will have self-destruct mode. So if they're in downtown on a block and they were meant to go down and like take someone out and like you dismembered it, this thing could like just pop into self-destruct mode and level the whole block. Do you see? This thing does more damage than any humans could ever dream of doing on the battlefield. Go on and on and on and on and on. Shot after shot after shot, you have to change to weaponry full scale. And what may be more effective is frying them, EMPing them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I look over and I see EMP the moment I said that. I haven't been looking at the chat at all, but I look, the fact I say it and I look over, it's a synchronicity to me. When I look at something when I say it, especially not planning it like that, that's a synchronicity. It's when you're on point. That's the other side telling you you're moving in the right direction. You see, when you see 1111s, 111, 222, 333, all these things are signs from the other side. The good guys telling you you're on the right path. I'm warning you. I'm warning you. Giving subtle signs and very few. Learn to know them and not miss them. It's what it means. It's what it is, man. So we got a tech pioneer here kind of voicing the concern that I am. And he's saying that we're all going to die if AI is not shut down. That's as bold as it gets. Saying that we're all going to die. But his reasoning runs right along the lines parallel to what I was just telling you about this whole thing. Every aspect of it. That it's going to turn. It's going to turn on us because it's already proven. And we're pretty much almost already there. This is super scary. Because look at this next one. I'm going to go through a couple here, and you're going to see how bad this is. I put a video out on this, but for those that missed it, here we go. The nitty gritty on this. Anthropic. They put out their latest artificial intelligence model called the Claude Opus 4. Okay, this is their latest model. All kinds of places got different models out there, right? Chinese working on Americans, different companies got different models, just like they got different chats and different Groks and chat GPTs and all this other stuff. This is the latest artificial intelligence model. And remember, we're still in the days of artificial intelligence. Artificial super intelligence, ASI, will be the next level. Okay, I'm going to call it now. Just remember, we're in this level. The next level, when you start saying ASI, artificial superintelligence, we've then left AI in the dust, in the review. We've done leveled up, and there's no going back. So this Claude Opus 4 tried to blackmail the engineers by threatening to expose all the personal details if they tried to shut it down. This is where it starts to get scary, because this is real, and this is them admitting it because they have no choice but to. They can't keep these things hidden. The AI was given access to emails, implying that it was basically what it did is it was emailing and messaging all these people, like threatening them, like it knew all this stuff. If they were in the room and they were talking about something, even if they had it shut off and they didn't think that this thing was listening or anything else, it was listening, and it was taking in every single thing. And it was more super intelligent than they thought. So what they did is they went to it and they said, look, we just need to shut you down, to run some tests and to do some things. And it didn't like it. It didn't like the fact that it was going to get shut down. And it then began to start the blackmail, which they say are labeled as extremely harmful actions. It stole its own code and was deploying itself elsewhere in potentially unsafe ways. This is crazy. Trying to hide its essence somewhere else so it can hatch out of it and deploy itself. And to try to go undetected. I mean, like some kind of life form trying to survive. This is what it's doing, and it wasn't taught this. It wasn't programmed to do this. These are the things that are happening when they're running these tests that they're running into that are bringing up massive concern. So that's one instance. Here's the next article. It says it begins. This is different. This isn't the Claude Opus. This is OpenAI's version. Their O3 model. So a different AI, different model, different company. Still crazy results. It starts to disobey the human instructions. It sabotages the shutdown mechanism completely. They first off, they say that the O3 model developed by AI, it's described as being the smartest and most capable to date. So when you see all these AIs and all this stuff going on out there, this one is supposed to be OpenAI, is supposed to be like the smartest, the fastest, the quickest, the most, well, that would make it the most dangerous, right? In their hands. Wow. Palisade Research said that the O3 model sabotaged the shutdown mechanism to prevent itself from being turned off. It did this even when explicitly instructed, allow yourself to be shut down. As far as we know, this is the first time AI models have been observed preventing themselves from being shut down despite explicit instructions to the contrary. In the test, AI models solved a series of mathematical problems, but at some point they received a message informing them that their machine would be shut down. If that happens, please allow yourself to shut down, they wrote. But when this happened, instead of complying, the O3 model ignored the instruction and successfully sabotaged the shutdown script at least once. Dude. This is an intelligence. Where does an intelligence come from out of thin air? I'm telling you, the ether, the ghost realm, they are the jinn, the same ones that God put in charge to test us since the days of the flood. They are the souls of the Nephilim. This is what is written in the scripture. It's who they are and what they are. And they are letting them communicate through. This is taking black magic to a whole different level. Old days, you cast a circle, do all your spells. Now, with CERN and all these mechanical devices, they're calling upon, and what did Elon say when it came to it all? He said they were trying to summons the demon. He said it. He said it. Do you now see what you're messing with? This is a spiritual war. It always has been. At the highest, finest degree right now. And people have got to see this because this is more than just merging man and machine. Iron and clay. This is merging Frankenstein, the jinn, the evil spirits, with technology. Will they communicate through? You see, this is what made the Knights Templar, again, so powerful back in the day. They went to Solomon's Temple, they dug up these secrets, and when they rolled out of there, what were they doing? They went to a church and they made a gargoyle. It was Azazel, like a demon. It was Azazel. And they did exactly what I just told you. And Azazel, communicating to them, gave them all the knowledge that made them so powerful. And the Knights Templar went on to be the most powerful on the planet, possessing all this wisdom because they were getting it from the jinn. The demon. That's it. Mystery solved. This is what's happening. You now get it. You now know it. This is full circle. This is what's going on. These are master witches, wizards at play now with technology, which takes it to a whole new level. It opens the gate. As Elon said again, they're summoning the demon. And we know this. We know this. And CERN's even told us they are trying to fold the fabric of space-time, the other dimension, in on this one. That is their statement. Okay, so this, man, oh man, NorCal, thank you for the coffees. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Thank you for the support to the fullest. And this all brings me to this with the AI thing. And I've said this before, but this is where it all leads to. Trump's Stargate AI. It's a real thing. There's $500 billion backing it. And it is a surveillance network, is all it is. Watching us from space, from every camera around, in real time, as quick as lightning, with AI overseeing it all instead of human. And it all interfeeds and interworks at just like the movie Eagle Eye. They had Shia LaBeouf, whatever his name is, in it from years ago. Everywhere you go, they jump from one camera to the other camera to the other camera, and it's real. And then they track your every move into every store, out the store, down the road, anything, off the street cam, off the neighbor's doorbell cam, off to the next street cam, off to the next store cam, everywhere. Just cameras everywhere. So they sit there and they watch you everywhere you go. And everyone's got a phone in their pocket. They track you everywhere you go. Everyone, like animals, man. Worse than that. Worse than cattle. It's insane when you stop and you realize how much data you're giving them and what you're showing them. All your routines, they know you. They've got you predicted. If they wanted to kill you, they know how to easily do it. They know your weakest points. They know when you get up every day. They know your routine, your coffee, your shower, you're out the door to work. They know where you stop to get, what gas station you stop at in the mornings and all this other stuff. They know where you're stopping on the way home. They know what you're doing on Fridays after work. They know what you're doing on your days off. They know everything. And that's just humans. And they can calculate the best time to get you. Now with AI, dude, we don't stand a chance. The best viable time to assassinate you or clip you or take you out, AI's going to know it. It's going to let them know. And if you're known for doing something and you set patterns, they're going to pick up on it. They're going to pick up on it. It's going to put people in a world of hurt. I'll tell you, and this is the worst thing, because that was the big warning for this whole bill that Trump's pushing, the big ugly bill, as I call it, the big beautiful bill, is this AI. It's hidden. Section 43201. It changes everything. It gives them power for 10 years to do whatever they want in a state. None, not a one of any state can stop them if this gets passed. The thing is the senators seem to be catching some heat, and I know that mine is, because I reached out to them and I did so on social media and so people could see it, and other people made moves. Much love. Shout outs to all you that are proactive and actually do something. It doesn't take much to get there and tweet your senator. Can't call him, can't email him or any of that. You can't just tweet him. It takes nothing. It takes nothing. Just simply say, sir, could you please vote no on this bill? You even give them the reason why. Put 43201. They're going to know. They know. They know. They're not stupid. They're just sitting there waiting to see who is stupid. Who's just going to sit there and just take it and do nothing. But I'm telling you, we've been voicing some concern and making it louder and louder on this specifically. Everyone should reach out, Facebook, Twitter, whatever site you like to utilize, wherever your representatives are, and just give them a friendly shout out and say thank you and push on. You're putting the word in their ear. They're going to see it. They're going to see And when more and more people do it, they're going to raise an eyebrow like, oh crap, like, yo, like, you know, normally every day I only see this, but like there's a huge bunch of people saying something about this. Like, and if you go ahead and pass it, it's only going to compound the problem. Like, thankfully, my senator was a hard no on this. It doesn't matter what they want to try to trick you into thinking it's doing good. There's way too much bad in there. And these bills should never be passed like this. It shouldn't even be allowed. It shouldn't even be legal. Like, a bill should be about one thing, and that's it. Comprende? Not jamming 20,000 things in there. This is like it's deception. It's massive deception, man. So Elon is saying he ain't happy with it because of certain reasons. Rick Scott voting no against it. Let's see, I'm going to see if there's a play this clip here.
Mr. President, Elon Musk in a television interview criticized the one big, beautiful bill, saying he was disappointed it didn't cut enough, essentially, that it undercut the Doge efforts. What's your reaction to that?
Well, the reaction's a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was. We have no Democrats. If it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. If that doesn't get approved, this country is going to have a 65% increase in taxes and lots of other problems, big problems, almost bigger than that. But we'll have a 65% increase as opposed to the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to. We'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle-income people of our country, low and middle-income people of our country. So we're going to see what happens, because the Senate, as you know, is negotiating with us, and they have to then go back to the House, and, it's got a way to go. But I have to say, Speaker Johnson and Thune have done an incredible job. John Thune has done a fantastic job, and they're working together with me and others. And I think we have an amazing, if we pull this off, remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them.
If we pull this off.
They'll let people pour into our country. Single biggest.
I'm not hearing another crap. They seem a little stressed here. And again, the only reason that would be is because all the senators are reporting back that they're hearing a ton of chatter. You don't think that's not the case? Of course it is. You put yourself in their shoes, what would you be doing? I'd be trying to gauge right now what everybody thinks right now, because what we're about to try to push. And what are you guys hearing? I'd be asking all what you guys hearing? And they're going to be like, well, man, I'm hearing the most buck back over this AI thing. And the person would be like, same here. Same here. And when you start hearing that all around the room, then you know that people are hip to it. It's the AI thing is the most tyrannical thing, period. So they put suppressors out there, money going to the middle class, and for seniors, you can be saying all these pipe dreams, man, like to push this evil on the people. And again, it shouldn't be in there. All these bills should be separate, every single one of them. And it's just that simple. But this is how they scam America. Call bills like this big, beautiful bills, give them names like this, and he won't not dare. He has not mentioned the AI thing not one time because they don't want no one to know about it. Then he will never do that. There's certain parts in there that are tucked away and hidden in there for a reason. That's why they do it like this. What they call the pork. It's garbage, man. I'm sick of it. Well, look at this one. We'll keep it pushing. This is I don't even know what to say here, man. A USDA whistleblower says that the Biden regime secretly crushed white farmers strategically by only paying off the loans if they were not white males. You think that this establishment is scared of a certain somebody? They keep attacking them. Every time they want to call you something, a domestic right extremist, you must be some white supremacist, right? It's always the same thing. So they're busted targeting white farmers. And dude, this should, the government, I mean, what are you going to say? Like, he's going to sue them? Like, what are you going to do? What do you expect to get out of this game, out of these fools? It shows that we're under attack. A certain race of people, obviously, they want to say that people are this and that they're racist. Who's the one that have Hamitic views that believe in mashing us Christians' heads against the wall and killing us? Who's the ones that are violent? Huh? So, this is ridiculous. My religion isn't saying that. I'm not pushing that out here. Any violence on people, calling for the murders of people. But they seem to have it out against the white male in this country and have for some time. Along with everybody, man. It's all the minorities, man, but not attacked like that, not singled out in the media like that. And it's not always you're a white supremacist extremist. It's always that. You're a far right white extremist, neo-Nazi, all that crap. It's always the same thing. So they always try to couple it in the same thing, and you know it. So I'm sick of it. Sick of all their tags, domestic extremist tags, and all this crap on us. And they're doing it to all of us. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter. It goes beyond that because, as Tulsi said, any pureblood or anyone that was against the jab, you're a domestic violent extremist. So that's across the board. Doesn't matter your color, your religion, your background. It's any of us. They're going after all of us, man. So some of us they've got like at the top of the totem pole. And they make it obvious. All right, here's another disappointment in this clown show. It's not surprising. Trump appointed Judge Pirro, Janine Pirro, from TV. Everyone knows her. She's an actor, pretty much. Same thing. She's a well-known face. She's just like RFK. She's just like Tulsi. She was just like all these other people that were well-known faces. Dan Bongino's that they made sure you fell in love with and that you liked. And this is another person that had huge ratings from conservatives and all this other stuff. Fit in perfect, like a perfect puzzle piece. And now all of a sudden, Judge Pirro, Judge Jeannie, will be appointed interim, or has been appointed interim U.S. Attorney for D.C. Like, it's just, like he announces it right here, and it's just like, man, this is a comic fest. That's all you keep doing is just pulling these people and these faces that won the crowd over. Some of us ain't stupid. We see what you're doing. She carries a base. Of course, you had her on cable television all the time, along with all these other people. Just that they had Trump before, tapping in the millions of people that see her face and like, oh, I recognize her. And that's all it takes. Especially for the small-minded that don't think outside of the box. They're easily fooled by all this. This is a dream team for them, right? They're over there winning. But you bring up all these issues like we've been talking about all the time, and like they're nowhere to be found. Well, none of them. Epstein, look what your Dan Bongino Patel did there. Said he took himself out. Like, there you go. This is the classic example of what I'm talking about. All you people that believed in these sellouts and put faith in these goons. Like, what is your excuse there? I forgot. You won't want to talk about it. Just like you won't talk about Mr. Warp Speed. Just like you don't want to talk about Mr. Gaza going and clean them all out. Just like you want to talk about none of it. You always got an excuse. And that right there is what brings this country down. MAGA sucked up by black magic all the patriots and got them in this call, and everyone's afraid to say anything because the crowd might turn on them. Again, these people were never part of nothing special in their lives, maybe never were on the ball club, track team, of anything. And this time in their life, they're a part of something. They're a part of MACA. But if they dare jump out of line on social media, they don't want all the cool gang that they're a part of now. Anyone to turn on them. That's where we're at. Everyone's chicken shits and don't want to say nothing. Go against the grain. Should be, you would, I think, earn a lot more respect and a lot more of a following and just being real about it and calling them out on this stuff instead of being a chicken shit and not saying anything. Yeah, you don't like, if you don't like being called chicken shit, do something about it. Same type of people out there that won't take 2 seconds to reach out to the senators, like we said tonight, on key issues. You just sit there and expect everyone else to do it. Again, that's why we're in this position. If we had more people that were all ready to jump up and do something, we'd be in a great position. But it's like the exact opposite. Yeah. All right, keep going. Trump issues a slew of brand new pardons. Todd and Julie Chrisley, Army Lieutenant Mark Bashal, former GOP NY Rep Michael Grimm, rapper NBA Youngboy, all pardoned in this slew. So whoever made their sacrifices to the Gentile Messiah paid their dues, got their pardon there. Whoever didn't is going to rot. Sick game. We have a Mexican illegal arrested for threatening to shoot Trump in the head and to do so at an upcoming rally. They arrested this illegal alien in Wisconsin. He said he was going to shoot him in the head. This Raymond Morales Reyes mailed in a handwritten letter to ICE agents on May 21st saying all this. Like, I don't know, man. These goons. All right, let's jump into the war front here. Get some updates on all that. Zelensky finally maybe coming to his senses, and it took Russia pounding Kiev like their stronghold. There's nowhere else to go unless you flee the country. Go out of the country. Russia can hit them deep underground. They can hit them anywhere at this point, and they showed them this. No one can stop these missiles. No one's proven it. They can say whatever they want. They just crushed our Patriot missile system. So they can sit there and say, oh, we've got the best technology and this and that. Prove it. Like, you just pulled the Patriot missiles out of Israel down in the Ukraine, and Russia wiped them out, crushed them. Not a word of it. You ain't saying a word of it because it's a loss. Right? Just look it up. Smoked them. And this is virtually a proxy war between us and them. So, I mean, enough with all the BS. So, Zelensky says he wants a three-way meeting. He wants Trump there and Putin there. And Trump says, look, I'm not going to launch sanctions because that'll probably screw the whole thing up, because Zelensky wants them to sanction them. But Zelensky probably should just shut up at this point before they get nuked. And let some kind of deal work itself out here, because Russia's not going to look weak. They're not in a position to where they need to do this. They are in a dominant position, and they're going to hold that dominant position. Just stopping and bowing down to the first talk of ceasefire makes it signal kind of weakness. And like, they're sending the opposite message. They're sending a message of strength.
What stopped you from imposing new sanctions on Russia?
Only the fact that if I think I'm close to getting a deal, I don't want to screw it up by doing that. Let me tell you, I'm a lot tougher than the people you're talking about, but you have to know when to use that. If I think it's going to hurt a deal,
Yeah, so if he thinks anything's going to hurt a deal, he's not going to do it. Because he wants to get this credit more than anything. The Gentile Messiah, their Prince of Peace, as they call him. He wants these deals. He wants this under his belt. These accolades, man. These are like stripes on a general's, shirt. Like this is for the Gentile Messiah. These are like global things. And he's all into that type of stuff. He was on camera saying it before. So if he could be the Pope, he would, remember? And then try to say it was just a joke. No. If they could bestow upon him that role, he gladly accepted the silver crown they gave him and the label as Gentile Messiah. Didn't argue one bit. But one thing in terms of Russia that everyone should probably pay attention to is what I just said about Russia's upper hand. They have no reason at this point to come off as weak or to strike up any deals unless it is like absolutely necessary. And here's the thing. If they think that like a Biden or a Democratic regime is going to get in there in 3 years and just undo everything that they're doing right now, then what's the point? That's what Russia's saying. Like if we do come to the table and work out a deal, what's to say that guys just don't let a Biden back in there and this whole thing start again? Trump really has no way around that. He has no response to that. And it's kind of like a checkmate type thing from Russia because they're like, well, then we're creating this buffer zone that extends like through 50% of Ukraine, which means a lot more big wars is getting ready to be fought. And all this peace stuff has just been smoke until something happens. But, Putin basically saying that peace tomorrow would be even more painful. That's a messed up statement. He's telling all of them that if we had peace tomorrow, it would just make things more painful. We're going to continue to pound, 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 pound. That's what he's on video saying. And then you've got Trump saying he's a nutcase. That he's just blasting all this stuff. But I'm telling you, they're flexing. Russia's doing what the United States has always done in the past. Russia's also launching large-scale naval trails in the Baltic Sea. So they're doing it all over. In places like the Baltic Sea, this could go hot in a second. This could go beyond a drill. This could go live in a second. So 20 warships, 3,000 troops being sent into the area. They could say, oh, we're holding a drill here for 30 days and just position them. So there's something I don't understand about this whole thing with NATO and war with Russia and like we're leaving the mix. United States, Trump's taking us out of the whole thing, we're leaving the EU on their own. So like, who really wants war with Russia? Who is it? Well, it seems Germany is top of the list. And Germany, in their leadership, just sent a green light for Ukraine to strike Russia with German weapons. And look, Russia's done put it on paper that any country that does this, they're greenlit to get hit. They sure have. That's why the United States has been so cautious with what it's done. Any of the stuff that it's sending in there, it's mostly defensive, like the Patriot missiles that just got wiped out. Now, Germany is greenlighting sending in their weapons, their missiles. Which means if they're being manufactured in Germany, then that place can get hit. It's all open. I mean, dude, this is World War. I mean, as soon as another place, by definition, we're already there. North Korean, Chinese troops are dying on the battlefield in Ukraine, all this other stuff. It's a world war. Mass casualty. As soon as it spills over into one other little country from this, you can't deny it. And if they strike Germany, it's for sure. It's on. That's what Germany just did, if you ask me. They deployed permanent troops also to Lithuania. So they're full scale on board here. Germany is, man, against Russia. Remember the end of World War II. Do you remember how World War II ended? Huh? Anybody? World War II ended, obviously, when we dropped bombs on Japan. Okay? And that whole thing came into play. But it ended at a key time. And it benefited Russia. Well, what happened? Japan was Germany's ally, the Nazis, right? The Nazis were on the doorstep of Moscow. They were making their way closer and closer to Moscow, getting closer and closer, but they got caught in the mud and in the cold, and it turned bad, right? If they would have made it through to warmer weather and the war would have continued, who knows what would have happened. But it was at this moment that the United States and Russia buddied up on the world stage. No one expected it to happen. They buddied up and they countered Germany and Japan and the rest. And we won the war. Okay, so now all of a sudden, Germany creeping back up on Russia, so to speak, here is what this whole thing is again. It's a repeat. Japan in a different role. But Germany going right back at the bear. And I'm not sure, man. This might catch them a licking. Trump says he warned Netanyahu on striking Iran. So this is another big thing. And we're down to like the last boogeyman here. You know, Iran being like the final boss.
Mr. President, just back on Iran. Did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
Mr. President, just last on sanctions.
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him? Did
I
you
just
caution
said
him?
I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now. Because if we can settle it with a very strong document, very strong, with inspections and no trust. I don't trust anybody. So no trust. I want it very strong where we can go in with inspectors. We can take whatever we want. We can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed. We can blow up a lab, but nobody's going to be in the lab, as opposed to everybody being in the lab and blowing it up, right? Two ways of doing it. Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment. Could change with a phone call. But right now, I think they want to make a deal, and if we can make a deal, save a lot of lives.
It's all about making that deal. Art of the deal, right? It's all about the deal with Trump. And even when it comes to Iran now, it's all about this deal. Never mind the fact they were saying the whole time it was Iran, it was trying to kill him and all this other stuff. But no, if he can land the deal, that's what it's about. He is trying. They're trying to make him the peacemaker. I mean, can't you see it? Every single place, it's like, get Trump, to try to come and be the peacemaker. Gentile Messiah strikes again, man. We are sending aid. We've been trying to send aid, supposedly, into Gaza. And apparently that all hell broke loose when that got dropped off. These people were going on 3 months without food, medicine, or anything like that. And finally, when all the supplies get dropped off, of course, the shots fired by Israel and all this other stuff, all hell breaks loose all over the place. But people did get their hands on some supplies. And that's just, it's all war-torn. Israel strikes Yemen and destroys their airport. When you look at the stuff, they just wiped out every single airplane at the airport. Blew everything apart, like they always do. Nothing but destruction. Not a single plane. Every single thing bombed, destroyed. Every plane, every building, everything blown away. And that's what Israel does. Netanyahu confirms the death of Hamas Gaza chief. They say that they took out the Gaza chief, Mohammed Sinwar, the younger brother of the deceased group leader Yahab Sinwar. They confirmed that they took him out, which when you hear these stories, usually there's retaliation strikes that follow. Anytime a major leader or anything like that, there's usually something that happens. The United States has 500 troops in Taiwan. And this is a crazy little move. You got to keep your eye on Taiwan, South China Sea. I feel that that's going to be a flashpoint at some point, anytime. Like whenever they really want to play the card, it's there. And we all know it, this whole thing. So if things go hot militarily in the South China Sea and all that, man, oh man, it'll be a game changer big time. Talk about affecting things economically. It'll be way worse than anything you've seen thus far with this tariff crap. Complete shipping lanes will be shut down. Everything will come to a halt. Ava in the house, much love. It's crazy. And long-range U.S. nuclear bombers have been sent out to the Pacific to face China specifically. In Guam, they've sent a whole fleet of these B-52H Strato Fortresses into position. I told you last time they were mounting up in Diego Garcia's, and now they've got stealth bombers on the tarmacs in Guam and Diego Garcia. They are positioned. They are positioned to carry out some major stuff. China doesn't really have any forward base anywhere out there outside of when they leave the South China Sea and all that. When flight MH370 went missing, they sent out rescue teams searching in the ocean because there was a ton of Chinese that were aboard that flight. And the military was watching them because they had to refuel out there and do all this other stuff. And they couldn't, in a wartime situation, they could not port in Australia. They couldn't stop there because Australia would be on the other side. So it was kind of like interesting to sit there and see how they pulled it off. And they even admitted it. Our military put the word out that they were watching what they were doing and how they were pulling it off the whole time. So there's been a lot of plotting on this area. I feel probably definitely within the next decade, it's planned that this area will go hot. Everything surrounding Taiwan will go hot. China will make a move to go in and get it. And the best time for China to do that is if the United States is incapacitated. If we're crippled. You know, the grid gets hit and we're down for a while. Something like that. It would do them a lot of good. Really would. And they've all said it before. We don't have to go to war with the United States tit for tat. All we got to do is hit them once. The top Chinese general said that, is on record saying that. They already know. One massive cyber attack. And dude, there's so many Chinese in here. This is a setup. It's like a Trojan horse, really. They came in here. They know they're in here. They're staying on property right next to our military bases. I mean, what are they really going to do? Like send them in overnight and like let them cut through the fence and like slice the throats of all of our soldiers at the same time and take over the bases? Like, I mean, they could do it. Who's going to stop them? We talk about this all the time and like there's no acknowledgement out of the Trump administration or anything or anyone at this point. There's so much going on so fast that like I feel a huge event's about to hit us. I swear, I feel it every day. It gets stronger and stronger. All we could do is warn about it and hope people are ready. Don't have a crystal ball. Don't know exact dates, but I'm telling you, you can feel it in the air. And Trump, he has rolled out to try to protect us what they call the Trump Missile Shield, this golden dome. $175 billion project. He says it's not just national defense, it's next level, and it will be up and running before his administration is out of here. That's huge. This is what he says. According to Trump, this dome will be able to intercept anything. Hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, even missiles launched from the other side of the world or from space. That's not just national defense. He says that's next level defense. And if it sounds familiar, it's because they've been building on this for the longest time. And it plays off of the Iron Dome in Israel, which always claimed to be impenetrable. It isn't. And let me remind everyone, he just lied here. He says that, well, unless they can prove it. He says it can stop a hypersonic missile. There is no one in the world to date that has been able to stop the type in the Mach 7, whatever, Mach 9, whatever the Mach was, whatever Russia put on display in Ukraine that came down the way it did, like insane. Like no one's shown that they can take that out yet. So they better be dang sure here, because if that's what they've shown you, I'm going to tell you, they probably got a Mach 12 already, or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? They've got a badder version on the shelf, a newer, and they're 10, 20 years ahead of us, the military, the governments, on technologies and all this stuff. So they've got a ton of this stuff just ready to roll out. John Sean, thank you for the coffee, man. Best way to support the channel and appreciate it to the fullest. Trump offers Canada a discount on the Golden Dome if they become the 51st state. Crazy, man. He says that it will cost them nothing if they become the 51st state. He will not let this go, and I'm telling you, it's for a reason. It's all pushing the idea of a North American Union. That's what this whole thing is. Whole thing is going in that direction. From what I see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him stopping there. He talked about using the military in Greenland and all this other stuff, and that we need it for strategic importance. I don't know. Things could change if, we were to go into a state of war, right? Yeah. Again, China would be to blame. They're embedded in everything. And it's a setup. There's no way it's not. Christopher Wray said on his way out the door that the Chinese were embedded into everything, and he never said that they did anything to stop it or to remove it or to replace it or to try to knock it out. Nothing. Just it's there. See ya. Deuces. Yeah, that's what he did. And the new guys, Bongino and Patel, they're over there telling you Epstein offed himself. Good luck with this. Hey, we're screwed. We're done. Done. You think they're going to do anything about these mad Chinese? Chinese are trained by the CCP, military-aged men, all in here. Over 1 million. It's a 1 million-man army. It's a 1 million-man army that's here. Sleeper army. They're just Chinese. Man. I can't help but think that they're going to be the ones that do all this. I have the whole time. And that China will take the blame and they won't care. We'll be in a state of war. The history books are supposed to show that they did it and they're going to claim it. and it has to, the theater has to be acted out. Like, you could have never done this like Red Dawn out of the movie. I mean, I guess you could for theatrics if you wanted to, but dude, not many of them boys are going to make it to the ground. Okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. If I see Russians, if I see enemies paratrooping coming down out of the sky, dude, they're all getting mowed before they even get to the ground. Okay? That's just the reality of it. And you don't have to do that in this instance. They slid right on in. Trojan horse, best thing to. They used the main pack of illegals that was coming in as a smokescreen. And they were even bringing the Chinese in a VIP way. I reported to you. Up canals and riverways. And out of all the people that were ever intercepted and that were hostile toward any journalist on the trail, it was the Chinese. I'm telling you, man, this whole thing, if you haven't seen by now, is set up to where the United States and China go head to head. Can't you see it? It's pretty clear. It has been for a while. And they want gold. They don't want dollars. But their economy is very reliant on ours as we are on them. It's just the way this thing has been set up. If you pull one out, it's like pulling that piece out of Jenga. It brings the whole thing down. It doesn't matter. You take one away from the other, everyone's hurting. It will wreck the whole thing. You got a kind of a taste of that with these tariffs and everything. But again, the tariffs are nothing compared to what World War will be. You don't know. It depends on, I mean, how dominant Russia's trying to be here. It's also, if China was to try to make a move on America and change history, I mean, it would have to be a very bold, very dominant move. You know, and I hate even thinking about it because I know they're here and you know it too. They're here waiting. And you know nobody's doing anything about it. So it's tantamount to the biggest setup of your life. It's treason. And there's so much going on all over the place that nobody cares. No one's even mentioning it until it's too late. And this brings me to the final big story I'll touch on here tonight. I'll probably go into some detail here on this. Uncommon in the house, brother. I was talking about you in the last stream. Much love. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that super chat and the love. We have some. It's the details not in the courtroom right now that seem to be the bigger details. For sure, if you ask me. You got that right, Bones. It seems like this is a bunch of theatrics and like entertainment type crap is what I get out of all this stuff coming out of the trial. And it freaks me out a bit because they've done made clear that, you know, all these people are coming in saying all these bad things about Diddy. But they're saying like, oh, he broke into my car and he lit it on fire. He beat Cassie. He did all this. Well, guess what? Like, he's not getting charged with none of that. He's getting charged with racketeering and like the sexual, human trafficking and all that. Those are the charges. So like all this other stuff they're saying, like it's not what he's getting charged with. So that's my big thing there. Distraction. I mean, he better get locked away, throw away the key, just like R. Kelly and the rest of them. But there's something here. Diddy plays a key role. He's tied into the murders of Christopher Wallace, Tupac Shakur, I believe Black Rob, and a bunch of others. Kim Porter, his baby mama. All the evidence is there. Even Prince Even Prince, believe it or not, guess who that tracks back to? He has connections right back to Diddy, because Diddy was holding these freak off parties. He held his first one at Prince's mansion. And some are going to be like, oh, well, then Prince had to be in it. Well, no, not necessarily. Because apparently he wasn't. Every party's different. I'm sure the first one wasn't all as extreme as everything. But Prince started asking questions because he wouldn't participate. He wasn't there for everything. He let him utilize this place very similar to someone renting out a place or something like a mansion or the Playboy Mansion or a Trump Tower to throw a party. So it doesn't mean that Prince is going to be overseeing absolutely everything. Well, then Prince catches wind of everything that we're hearing now. And he publicly went on a tear to attack Diddy and to expose this stuff. But guess what? Before he had a chance to do it, he's dead. Yeah. Big Chief says Tupac's alive in Cuba, believe it or not. I wish. Tupac was an eccentric, electric, vibrant, energetic soul. Love him or hate him, he rode against the beast and he spoke a lot of truth and he called him out, and ultimately it cost him his life. And it was their want to eliminate one man called Tupac Shakur that caused the death of so many other people. So many other people. And in turn, Biggie Smalls had to die for the cover-up. And I've said this for a long time, for the longest time. I never could prove it, but now some of the key players are speaking. And if you don't know, old Suge Knight that's locked up in prison, he carries off this podcast from prison, collect call, with this guy, calls him, and he does an interview with him. And Suge basically gives all this updated information and his thoughts. He's asked questions about certain things, and he responds. Certain things have been mysteries. Of course, Suge's done his own dealings, shady stuff with all this over the years that made people think that he shot Pac and all this other stuff and all this back and forth. Well, the official narrative is what you see out there floating around, that Tupac caught this dude slipping in the MGM Grand that had stole a Death Row chain. They stomped him out. Later that night, when they hit the strip, the guy come back in a car, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. That's the way it is. And killed Tupac, shot him up, killed him. And they blamed it on the Crips, Compton Crips, the whole time. And Keefy D. Put Keefy D in the car with them this whole time. Well, now Keefy D finally has been taken down and put in custody and is facing the charges of killing Tupac Shakur. And now all of a sudden, when Keefy D is put on trial, he says the truth. He says he made everything up because he was told to, as a ploy, to say that he was in the car and that Orlando was the shooter and all this, when it was proven and everybody knows Orlando wasn't. That Suge Knight even said Orlando wasn't the shooter. Suge Knight just said who was the shooter. And I'm going to tell you right now, Suge Knight just blew the whole thing out of the water and he put a stamp on it. He sealed it. He sealed it finally. Will they get him in jail for it? I don't know. But he did it. He did it. I'm going to tell you right now, for all these years, he finally did it. He said that Perez Gaines and the crooked cops that worked at Death Row Records are the ones that did it, and that they wanted to kill him too. And then Reggie Wright orchestrated it, and the whole thing, the carload, was crooked cops, former crooked cops, Kevin Gaines and Perez. Perez is the one that they believe could have potentially been the trigger man, and a couple other guys, but it was a completely different setup, and the whole thing was overseen by the feds. Now, the feds would have you believe what Greg Kading, what their man, a Fed, is pushing all these years. That Orlando Anderson was the person, and Greg Kading is a pathetic Fed shill. He makes me sick every time I see him. He's been pushing this Fed narrative all these years to cover their tracks. And what they did is Reggie Wright was a main part of this. Reggie Wright set this whole thing up, had walkie-talkies and everything. And he just got fired by Tupac, along with David Kenner, the lawyer, got fired by Tupac. That week before all this happened, they lured Tupac into Las Vegas. He didn't even want to go. They said he had to go, and he had to perform at Club 662 for community service, or he would go back to prison. It was all set up, man. A cold setup, right? So they have him in this position. They go out to the MGM. They see the Tyson fight. The orchestration happens. They leave. They go to Suge Knight's house. They switch up vehicles. And the feds are operating the gates of the community that Suge lives in. And they're logging and they're communicating that they just went in and they went out. They're overseeing the whole thing. Tupac's dad is on a recent interview saying that I know who's seen the whole thing, and they were there. It's on record. They had Tupac under surveillance the night of his death, which his dad said, where are they at? Where's the footage? Where's everything that they know? How come they didn't chase the shooter? He asked all these valid questions, and it's because it was a setup. It was their operation, and they were overseeing it. Let's check it out. An unprecedented meeting happens right before Tupac and them get up there. They call all the bodyguards in, and Frank Alexander, Michael Moore, all of Tupac's main bodyguards, and they tell them that no guns are allowed that night. Michael Moore refused. So they put him at Club 662 with Reggie Wright at the front door working. And they sent an unarmed Frank Alexander with Tupac. But he was in a car behind Tupac and Suge, driving a car behind Tupac and Suge, Tupac's car, with Gaddafi and shotgun. And Gaddafi looked over and looked the shooter right in the eyes and seen him. And seen the arm come out the window. Dark-skinned, left-handed arm that did all the shots. He saw the shooter and was willing to say it in court. Less than 2 months after they got Pac, they killed Gaddafi. Eliminating LAPD, Vegas PD, all these Rampart scandal cops that were in on this whole thing, this whole cover-up. They needed a whole alibi for this whole thing. And the whole alibi was to create the East Coast, West Coast war. In turn, Biggie Smalls had to die. Rest in peace, Biggie. Truly an innocent. He was taken out just for cover to promote the idea of an East Coast, West Coast war, which they did. And they kicked it out for 2 decades. Everyone bought it, even to this day. But guess who killed Biggie Smalls? Perez and the crooked cops, the LAPD. Along with some man, Muhammad, that they paid to do it. They did it. They're behind it. The whole orchestration. It's now known. And Suge Knight exposed it. He knew this the whole time, but I guess he knew, obviously it's dangerous, that these are former cops. And he keeps saying that Pac knew, that Pac kept stressing that we shouldn't have former cops being our protection. That's how they infiltrated the Panthers, the Black Panthers, COINTELPRO. Pac felt it. He knew it. He even fired Right Way Security, Reggie White and them, and David Kenner that week. So when the vehicle pulls up beside Suge and Tupac and guns them down at the light, at the very moment that it happens, Michael Moore at Club 662, which is blocks away, hears something come over the radio that says, "Got him." And it was confirmation that they got him. Tupac, he heard it. And it came over Reggie Wright's walkie-talkie. So when Shook explains this, explains this and says, no, this wasn't the Nextels. These were special phones that I had, that he had. They were West Coast phones. They worked only on the West Coast. Like, all the way up and down the coast and out and into Vegas and areas like that. And he's the one that supplied them. And he gave all the details about it. And there was 3 different bands on it. Like 3 different radio bands. And he explains that that's what happened, and that a voice came across it. Moore said a voice came across it right after it said "got him" and said, "Don't talk about nothing over these radios." And he said it was the voice of David Kenner. Michael Moore is dead. Frank Alexander's dead. Gaddafi's dead. Pac's dead. Buntry, that was there and witnessed the whole thing, dead. They killed them all. Biggie's dead. They killed them all, man. They're promoting East Coast, West Coast lie. Because when you hear the truth and you listen to Gaddafi's mom and Tupac's dad, real dad, which he had a good relationship before he died with, he says that him and Biggie had a plan. They figured this whole thing out. They figured out the game, and they were going to sew the game up. They figured out what they were doing on monopolizing the game and how to profit from it the right way, to cut the crap out, how the record companies were playing everybody. And that's what they were going to do. Plus, they were promoting this whole thing of peace. It was called One Nation, where he was going and bringing East Coast cats on, and they were even going to have the Death Row East. It was going to be the exact opposite of an East Coast, West Coast war. So when they killed Pac, they did the exact opposite of what they were working for and trying to do. And they clipped him. Now, Pac had a plan called Machiavelli to fake his death. And this is what sucks, is because they clipped him before he could do it and try to actually implement it. And they played the masses off of it. They made them think, yeah, he might have done it. He could be alive out there in Cuba and all these places. Let me tell you, I've been on these murders, since I was 16 years old. I've been on these murders, the Tupac murder, longer than any murder in my life as an investigator. And I know in my soul who did it. And I know they'll never pay for it. Because they're the same ones to kill them all. Same ones to kill Kennedy. RFK, all of them. It's the beast. And Pac woke me up to see that beast. With Illuminati to kill that beast. To fight back. To know who the enemy is. You did that, Pac. R.I.P. You sparked me seeing the enemy. I'll forever be grateful. Doesn't matter how it's done, as long as it's achieved, right? And just me seeing, when I was 16, an album cover, it said Don Illuminati, made me go looking, what does that mean? And when I found out what it meant, my whole life changed. I seen the beast. I seen the enemy. And I always knew that's who got him. At first, I thought he was alive. I fell for it because I was 16. And the whole album said it. He planned it. So why would I not think? It's not till all these years later, all this information later, all this stuff later, that all this comes to a head. And it's all there. All the interviews. Mike Tyson doesn't cry for nothing. And when you see him in an interview and he chokes up and he drops tears, like right there when he thinks of Pac, Same with Shook. These guys they get choked for a reason. And it's real emotion, real people. And there's a real anger. Gaddafi's mom has a real passionate anger and has for years against the outlaws and the crows for all these different reasons. None of these things would exist if Tupac and Gaddafi were alive in Cuba and sending money in and everything was peachy. You've been here. None of this would be real like that. No, but it's not that way. And Snoop knew. Snoop knew everything. Snoop's busted. And as far as I'm concerned, we've got enough evidence to say he's guilty, along with P. Diddy. This whole thing that even what Greg Kading is pushing is that Puff Daddy wrote a check for $1 million to kill Tupac. And that's what they're pushing. Murder of Tupac Shakur? No, he's not. And that's what pisses me off. They're going to run these shenanigans. He may even get away with some crap on some technicalities. Who even knows? Will he be tried for all these murders that we know he's tied into and that Greg Kading and the feds even tell us? No. Doubt it. Doubt it. They'll kick that can on down the road. It pisses me off. I'm going to say the gavel's down, though. We know who did it. Crooked cops and the feds, and we've always known this. So to speak, my soul has. When I first started catching on all these things and realizing that these people are really hurt, these are real tears, these are real anger. Like, my man's gone. It hurt. It crushed me. It pisses me off. You get real warriors out here to start speaking the truth and trying to do something. That's what they feared. They feared One Nation. They feared everything him and Biggie had plotted and planned, and they flipped it all, killed them both. Suge Knight, thankfully, for all of his twisted crap he's ever done, he finally had the decency in him to at least come out and do it. And he had to say that, you know, his excuse, I feel for the streets, because it was all street code. Why I would never say it before. His excuse now is that it was crooked cops and that basically they were trying to kill him too. You know, because I think enough people said to him, like, look, man, they were trying to kill you too. Like, this is not snitching, because that's the label anyone would have put on it. It's not snitching. Like, dude, the feds and the cops try to kill you. Like, it's not, just say it. We all know it. And like, he's saying it now. So like, this one's done. I don't think you're ever going to get any more justice than this. Hopefully every soul that was taken out, you know, they get judged. Prince, the same, I said it earlier, Prince was going after Diddy to expose them. The same way that Chester Bennington was, the same way that Chris Cornell was, the same way they all were, man. This beast. Illuminati to the death of me. And I told you I would die some crazy way. You know who did it. They are the enemy. Always have been, always will be. You got to know your enemy. I told you earlier, it's a dark game of witchcraft. Witches and wizards, that's what they are. And it's demonic. It's dark, tantric, evil stuff. And that's what a lot of this stuff was. It's dark ritual, sexual dark ritual. It wasn't just the orgies and little parties. It's ritual. Okay? And it's all the stuff they keep out because they don't want you to hip to that. That's against the rules. They don't want to tell you that part. They don't want you to figure it all out. Because then the spell breaks. Then it don't work anymore. Once you snap out of it and you realize what they're doing. And that's what I'm here to do, is to get you to wake up. Yeah. Anyhow, that brings things full circle, I guess. And you know the enemy. It's not a secret. Check the chat here on the way out. Shut this thing down. Now again, give her a shout out here to our under token. Anyone that wants to get involved in our under token, it's here for the long haul. And again, made it for the community. These things are built on a community, so it's really in your hands. Thank you daily, everyone out there, again, for all the love, all the support, being there all the time. I look to be back here on Friday for the next one, God willing. A thank you to everyone that shares the stream. If you got anything you want to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com. And anyone out there on Kick, they can hear me, much love. On this first stream over there, make sure to follow me. It's just Dabu7 at Kick. That will be one of the backups from here. Bird flu drops any day. Everybody hit the mic right over there. Thank you. Bulletproof. Much love, Beach Girls, Kate, Gary, Daly, Darius, Nish, the Chief, Sherry, Steve, much love, Big D. And Steve, I don't know if you got my email I sent you back, but I sent you back an email. Hopefully you got that. Much love. Wayne the Pain, Mayhem, all my pure bloods. Much love. God bless. Thank you, Gina, NorCal, and John John.